Hey guys, it's Ryan. It's let's see, Sunday, September 25th, doing a quick macro measure and follow up with the sector situation in a minute. But just getting into a little bit of what's going on here for this week. Let's do a quick disclaimer and IP. We can get through this stuff here. Okay, you guys should be able to see my screen now. So hopefully we can get through some of these. Again, this is usually Wayne's kind of video, but he's been traveling all day. For those of you who are at the conference, know he's driving back. So that is a very long trip. So try and cut him some slack on this one. Cut me some slack on this one too. But in terms of our bigger picture, just looking at obviously a pretty ugly week from last week and trying to look forward to what is coming this week. Let me get out of this weekly and show you kind of a shorter term here. So obviously the Fed came out and did a number on the market from Wednesday on and really gave us a pretty ugly looking picture here from Wednesday to Friday. We did have a nice reversal on Friday. They started to bid it up. I would have loved to see it happen a little bit sooner, right? Maybe they could get a little bit more legs and get almost a complete reversal would have been pretty nice. But it really started to look pretty ugly there in terms of the bigger picture. So this is something we're going to be watching on Monday morning, obviously, for the follow through. Where does it get to? What starts to happen? Can they start to put together a higher low here, or do they continue to retest the lows? So I think that's going to be the first thing we'll be looking at is where does it open? How does it react? Is there any news that could be coming out that could really start to move this up? Now, this week, we're going to have the Fed heads talking all week. I think it's like, I don't know exactly, like 15 different speakers this week, talking over, fumbling over each other to get their comments out, maybe to try to stem the tide here of what's happened and try to back it off a little bit. But this does look pretty ugly in terms of the bigger picture. And so this is something I definitely think that we have to be careful of. One comment from them could be good, one comment from them could be bad. So when you look at it, we come back to the bigger picture here of this big swing low back here, 617 in the SPY. And if we do start to take that out, then this is going to be the next potential for another leg to the downside. Right now, we're oversold, right? This has been a pretty ugly move. We had looked at this last week, kind of this as this divergence. Didn't get it, right? It just took out the lows and we were ready for that if it did start to move down below, we were ready. So, Wednesday when it really started to get ugly and they just started to sell, follow through on Thursday and Friday, it did not get down to this level yet. So I do think there's a lot of things that are in the way. But we still have a lot of negativity that could play out, right? We have a lot of things that, especially with earnings, wrote about in the market outlook. Hope you guys look that over. You got earnings coming up in 2 weeks. They're really going to start getting going on this. So I'm hoping we can get some type of a relief rally here, move this back up, maybe retest these highs from Wednesday and Monday. If we can get that going, that would be phenomenal. Because we know earnings and where dollar is continuing to run here, and what's going on with rates, which I'll get into in a second, but that is definitely going to be concerning in terms of the bigger picture. So the low, obviously, this is kind of the big OS level as we've been calling it, or at least I've been calling it, that if it does start to break there, we got to be concerned. Now, diamonds already took that out, right? So that is kind of the first step here that you got to be definitely concerned. But they had a pretty good rally on Friday. They did get that back up. You can see they got a pretty almost close to 2/3 of the action, at least from the open, not necessarily from the gap down, but pretty strong there in terms of the bigger picture. So again, love to see this one get back above that. Again, 617 low on that. That right now is on the diamonds. That low back there is 296.39. We closed at 295.86. Not that far off, but again, like to see that back up. Now, Qs are basically still hovering above as well. So just trying to zoom in for you guys here on this. you can see that we did have a sell-off, rally back up, closed pretty much just above our flat line right there, 275.23. So again, down here, 269.28. This thing starts to get ugly this week. You are prepped and ready. The other one would be IWM. Obviously, this one was faring better, and we talked about this the prior week. Again, given that this thing was really up here and holding very, very well compared to this action back here. But this has, again, really given us an ugly signal for the week, at least for last week. And we're down and broke these couple of lows that we talked about last week. And then this one right in here is going to be your big OS level back there. That's 616. So the day before the other one. So those are the ones in terms of the big things that we're watching in terms of those critical levels. We are obviously overbought in terms of the bigger picture, but we know we can, oversold in the bigger picture here. So we do know that we rarely get down to that, but in bear markets, just like we were in bull markets, right, it tends to stay in an overbought area. So we did have a nice run up. We did have a failure to kind of get back up to that high, and they are in sync, right? That's kind of the big, not a divergence at all, right? In terms of that peeling off, they're both peeling off. So now down here making new lows. So this all starts to play in line. Really no major divergences in terms of the RSI. Volatility is up, but given that rally that they did on Friday morning, they did start to sell back into this a little bit, right? Come back down to roughly that, just under 30. So any kind of rally from here, I would imagine, in terms of at least in the market, that would sell off volatility back down, probably back down to the 100 or the 200, right? Any kind of stabilization here, they'll start to sell immediately into the VIX. The other thing I wanted to show you guys in terms of this is the 10s versus the 2s. And you can see we're still hovering down here near this area, mainly because the 2s have, the 2s rallied really, really strong. And our 10-year was just nuts in terms of the action. You can see big pop on Thursday, big pop on Friday. Again, we'll see, have to see, does this come back into play? The other thing that I think was really kind of playing with the market and messing things up was that dollar. And the dollar had a massive move last week where we not only took out the high back in here, just continued to run. And so this has been tremendously strong. So that's making it a little bit more difficult to price all these things out. You know, obviously you start to look at your gold and silver in terms of that, in terms of pricing, and that just continues to get walloped along with silver, and crude got hit on Friday as well. That took out the low. So that's definitely something we're going to be watching and seeing if we get any kind of news from OPEC in terms of the bigger picture. So again, dollar, interest rates, and some of these commodity prices coming off, you know, they're kind of moving in sync, moving in a contra move there. So the rally in the dollar pulling these other numbers or other commodities down in terms of the bigger picture. So on that note, I'm going to end it there. Good luck this week. Obviously, if you guys need us in any way, please get us in the individual forums and we will help you out as fast as possible. And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.